Do we have to continue the same things that our mother, father, grandmother, aunt, uncle did? If we felt that the behavior was not right, if we saw that it brought pain on us, why would we continue to do the same thing? And I know we're getting into socialization, but also too, the Bible tells us that God wrote his truths on our hearts. When we have a thought, a feeling, a gut feeling that something isn't right, when we see that others are talked about, called outside their name, when we see others being beaten up by a mother, father, when we see anger being expressed through belts, switches, whatever it may be, there is something in us that is trying to tell us that it's not right. And so often we feel, and I've heard people say, that they feel like they betray their family when they do not do the same things that have been done. One of my mother's life principles is just because someone else goes through it doesn't mean that you have to go through it. I've talked about that in a previous episode. Today, I'm going to talk about another one of my mother's life principles, which is create the family that you want. Now, I believe that experiences are there to help teach us, to help remind us of the truths that are within us, to help teach us, show us that the difference between the unhealthy way and the healthy way are the right way to do something. This is Tamika Chambers. I am a trained nurse with a BSN and an MSN with over 20 years of experience in the healthcare industry. After experiencing pain and even before then, I wondered, why do people hurt others? What's going on? And what I found is that there is a generational cycle of pain. There are unhealed wounds out there circulating. These unhealed wounds are dismantling the family concept. They are callousing hearts and infecting generations. Because the truth is within us, we know what to do. We must trust ourselves to do the right thing, to align ourselves with truth. Often, as a child, I would say, I don't want to do that, or that isn't the right way to do it. I would get kind of upset, frustrated with my mother about just some things about my brother's not taking not taking as much responsibility in cleaning the house, and they know about this, not taking in and responsibility. And um there were some things that I thought should be done a different way. I thought as long as live in the house, you use the things in the house, the bathroom, the kitchen, the dining area, that you should take part in cleaning it up. To that it didn't make sense to me for women or girls to be the ones that clean up only the inside of the house. That I thought as long as you live there, family members are a team. We work together as a team. No one person should have to do all of the work, right? And I use that as an example. I always use examples in my personal life. And I didn't know I was going to use that example, but that is an example for me. And that's how I choose to raise my children, to believe that families work together as a team. I am not successful as a parent if my children are not successful. That means that as I'm working on my purpose, I help them to achieve their purpose. I pay attention to what they like and what they don't like. Both my children love to create art. They love to draw. They love to play with clay and Play-Doh and make, different designs. Out of those, Cam creates characters, Ninja Turtles, all of that just from memory. And so in order to be here for them, I had to forgive. I had to let go because one of the persons that hurt me was a great artist, or is a great artist, um, and I had to put what he did in perspective so it couldn't interfere with how I train my children. And so I have to be there for them. I have to make sure that I take the things that I didn't like, and I don't include that in my parenting tactics, my parenting ways. That I include the things that I liked, and I want to give them more of the things that I like, desire, even if I didn't have it for myself. It's not about our children because I went through it that you have to go through it. No, because I went through it, I don't want you to experience that or anything like that. And even if you do, you're going to have the tools to withstand life storms. That I'm big on principles. I'm big on overarching guidelines to help us go through life. Even those day-to-day activities, if you have standards by which you live your life that give from the heart, then you know about giving from the heart. You know about doing for your children. When you nip things in the bud, guess what? If you see anything that is out of the lines of respect, out of love, not out of the lines of respect, meaning that it's disrespectful. It's not love, it's not trust, it's not truth, it's not faith. If you it's not respecting people in their bodies, it's not respecting people as far as their names, calling people outside of their names. I believe that every human being has a purpose, divine purposes. We are here for reasons, and that you are made perfectly for your earthly journey. So there's no reason to talk about others. There's no reason to condemn others, because the Bible tells us anyway, when you condemn one person, you condemn yourself. When you think negative thoughts, those negative thoughts go inside your inner garden, and they can corrupt the fruit that is within your inner garden, the love, the compassion, those laws and truths that are that have been written in our hearts, that are in our minds. And so again, it's not about repaying our children for what was done to us. They had nothing to do with what we went through, what we experienced. They had nothing to do with my parents, my grandparents, the history of America, but they are the future of America. And I want to break the cycle of pain by creating a cycle of love, by helping our children to unite, to align with the source of life, with the truths that are already in them. Because as a teacher, as a parent, we are teachers, we are students, we are learning, we are reinforcing those beliefs that we have within ourselves. What we teach, we reinforce. And so I love Sundays, and I decided to go ahead and record this on Sunday, which is the first day of May, because Sundays have always been a day of reflection for me, to reflect on the week, to reflect the week that's passed, to reflect on the week going forward. They have always been a day of reflection and just kind of rewinding. But I have found too, the daily reflection is necessary because each one of us, everything started for me in the garden. From what I understand with the Bible, everything started in the garden. So guess what? Within us is our inner garden. Within us are the fruit to harvest, to cultivate. Within us, people drop their thoughts, just like a bird that picks up a seed out of your garden. People drop their thoughts, try to drop their thoughts in your inner garden. Their opinions, how you should treat yourself, your children, how you should behave, who you should be as a mother. And we have to assess our inner garden and see what beliefs are we holding? What truths, what myths do we have that we need to dismantle? What opinions have we allowed to cloud our views of what a mother or father should do and be? Because those truths are already within us. And I don't want to tell you, I'm not telling you how to raise your children. What I am asking you is to really assess, how can we break the cycle of pain? How can we create a cycle of love, a generational cycle of love, where we assess those beliefs and thoughts and actions that we grew up with, that we experienced, that we saw, that deep down inside we knew was wrong. And how do we take control of our life, take control of the truths within us, and live those truths? Because there is a Bible verse that says, do I do by right by you, or do I do right by God? Which one is better? Do I live by God's truths, or what you thought was true? That demeaning others, that looking at others that are different from me means that they don't deserve respect or love. That God does not show favoritism. That each one of us, there is a reason why we are here. And in the Bible, God calls for us to love one another. He doesn't put restraints on that. He doesn't say just love the people that are the same color as you, love the people that eat the same foods as you, love the people that grew up like you, love the people that are thin or are shorter than you or taller than you, or that are in the same field as you as far as career. He says to love all. That is the highest commandment. One of the highest commandments, to love him. If you love others, you love God, because God created them. They are a reflection of him. We are divine spirits in bodily form, representations of the truth in every color and every creed. So when we think about creating the family we want, we look at our life. What have we learned? What is right? What is good? What is loving one another? Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not rejoice in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It does not boast. It is slow to anger. We want a definition of what love is. My husband has said one day when we were talking, he said, many people don't know what love is. In the Bible, in Corinthians, in the 13th chapter, it tells us what love is. So if you have experienced rejoicing in evil, if you have seen that, then we must see those hurting hearts that have been blinded to the truth. And no matter who they are, all human beings, all human beings have experienced pain, but some, unfortunately, don't know how to heal from that pain. And it's amazing how, when we have the right perspective, when we have the love perspective, that we change from the inside out and realize, oh my gosh, I have not done right by you. Don't wait and let someone tell you, I have not done right by you, for you to do right by others. You know the truth, own your truth, express your truth, cultivate your truth that is within you. You have the right to do so, the divine right to do so. And we do it with one person at a time. Because again, whatever you teach, you reinforce in yourself, whether it's love, hate, whatever you teach, you reinforce. So if you're waking up daily and you're having a unrestful sleep, your sleep is not restful, you are angry, you are fearful, you are resentful, you are ashamed, you're those are that's data that we need to put in its right perspective. And more than likely it comes from someone projecting their pain on you and the perception that you have because of that pain. You are never at fault for what someone else does, but you are responsible for your emotions and your feelings and what you do to others. This is Tamika Chambers with Create a Generational Love Cycle. We can do this. We can break the cycle of pain with a cycle of love, with a cycle of healing, with a cycle of light. Find out more about me and my beliefs on tamikaschambers.com. And I look forward to sharing more of my mother's principles and hearing what you have to say. What are your thoughts about creating the family that you want?